That one dance, baby. That one dance.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dorcas, and I'm delighted and excited to present this mentorship program for emotional intelligence. And thank you so much, Pastor Harry, for giving me this opportunity to be part of the mentorship team for our youths, for our St. Peter's youths. Now, emotional intelligence is a very vast topic, and I feel I cannot exhaust it today. So what I have done, I have divided it into two parts. So part one, I'll present it today, which will have what is emotional intelligence. It will cover what is emotional intelligence, why EQ is important than intelligence as leaders. We'll also be discussing on 5 key elements of a leader with high emotional intelligence. And number 6, part 2 of emotional intelligence, when we get back to normalcy and we are able to congregate at the youth center, I'll be talking about key points to an effective leader and how to shine in the marketplace. Half the time, we are not able to stand out in the marketplace, in the corporate world, in our social settings, because our emotional intelligence is very ability to understand, use, and manage your emotions. First of all, you have to understand that today I'm in one of my worst moods. I'm in one of my lows. Maybe someone bullied you in the internet. Maybe someone didn't give a very positive remark about you. So you are in your low. So you are able to manage that by brushing it off, or by just trying to overcome and not being brought down by somebody who made a remark about you, or how you felt about someone's behavior towards you. So emotional intelligence is sometimes called EQ. Just as a high IQ can predict top scores, if your IQ is high, you are a top performer in school. Okay? And a high emotional intelligence can predict success in social and emotional situations. People who have high emotional intelligence are very successful socially, because they're able to manage their emotional situations. Now, EQ helps us build strong relationships. We make good decisions. People who are very good in their who are emotionally intelligent, they make very good decisions, and they deal with difficult situations. If you're not able to deal with difficult situations, you need to work on your emotional intelligence. It shows you're a bit weak in that area. And ways to work on that is to manage your feelings. Emotional intelligence comes out of emotions and your feelings. How you feel, let it not affect people around you. At times, try and conceal it and just fake a smile, put a smile, and just fight it. And the more you fight it, the more you overcome those bad emotions that make you feel downtrodden. And when you feel bad and you're down, you affect people around you. Now, I said earlier before that emotional intelligence is more important than IQ. Now, IQ is the sharp guy, the guy who gets the straight A's, the guys who are very sharp. Yeah? They say that boy is very brilliant. Yeah? They can even dismantle a car and put it back in shape. But one way to think about emotional intelligence is that it's part of being people smart. People who are emotionally intelligent are people smart. Yeah? Understanding and getting along, they get along with people, which makes them very successful in every area of their lives. Studies show that emotionally intelligent people are more important than than those people with very high IQ. Because at times, those with high IQ, their bubble is very high. They think of themselves at times very highly, so they are not able to reach out to other people because they are in their own world. Yeah? So when it comes to doing well in school or being successful at work or in church, family and society at large, you have to be, your emotional intelligence has to be very high for your success to be able to be complete. Now, the guy with high IQ can be able to work on their emotional intelligence, and then they are able to be complete, so that they are able to gel well in the society that they live in or with their families. Now, I'm going to touch on the basic emotional intelligence skills, just the basic ones. Then, as I said, when normalcy returns, we are going to now go into details of it. Now, one of the skills, basic skills of a highly emotional intelligent person is being aware of your emotions. Yeah, most people feel many different emotions throughout the day, depending on how someone treated you in the morning, or at your workplace, or at home. Yeah, some feelings like surprise last just a few seconds. Others may stay longer, creating a mood like happiness or sadness. You are able to notice and accurately label these everyday feelings in basic EQ skills. So you are also able to manage and notice other people, how they feel. Emotional intelligent people and the successful leaders in the society, or even in our workplaces, in our churches, or wherever, they are able to pick out how other people feel. And for example, maybe if you have a parent who has high emotional intelligence, they'll see your face is down and they'll ask you, what's happening to you today? You don't look fine. Your face is gloomy. Yeah. They're able to see or pick out, or even you're able to ask your mom, today you're not smiling. What's happening to you today? So you are able to notice your mother is not upbeat. Now, understanding how others feel and why. People are naturally designed to try to understand others. Okay? And part of emotional intelligence is being able to imagine how other people might feel in certain situations. For example, in certain situations, as in, like, if I asked for a cup of tea and you told me, must I bring it to you on the table? Maybe I just wanted that kind gesture of you bringing me a cup of tea as my brother or my sister, or a sibling, okay? So it is also about understanding why they feel the way they do. Yeah, they took offense on something so small, and maybe it's something you'd have been able to tackle it in a different way, and like, okay, I'll bring you a cup of tea, but what is it, you are you okay? So just dig deeper and interrogate your siblings or your family people members or people around you. Then being able to imagine what emotions a person is likely to be feeling. Are you feeling well? Are you unwell? What is it? What is happening? So being able to imagine the emotions of the other person. This is also called empathy. Empathy helps us care about others and build good relationships and friendships. Yeah? So when you empathize, you're able to wear the shoe of the person who you see is not upbeat that day. It guides us on what to say and how to behave around someone who is feeling strong emotions. For example, maybe someone has lost a relative and you empathize with them, you grieve with them. Don't go saying, oh, hata ni sawa, or maybe someone has lost their job and you don't empathize. You like, hata ni vizuri you lost that job. You're being hurtful. Yeah, empathize with them, pray with them if you're a Christian, trust God with them, wear their shoe and know that they are not in their right state of mind. So when you empathize, you help them to heal quickly. Okay? Now, managing emotional reactions. We all get angry and we all get disappointed. Often it's important to express how we feel, but managing reaction means knowing when and where to express yourself. So what are reactions? Reactions are when you're sent even by your mom and she's like, today you are the one who is doing the garden. I'm like, Mom? Yeah, for what? Can't you send Eddie? Can't it be you are reacting to your mother and she's giving you an assignment and here you are reacting? Yeah. So when you understand your emotions, know how to manage them and have self-control. So when you're told today it's your duty to wash dishes, now that people are at home, don't start reacting and saying, Mom, it's me every time. I've seen that, by the way, with at times my daughter, it's, Mom, unanionea, So manage your emotions, your reactions, because how you react, your other siblings will react the same way. And you'll have opened a door of anger, a door of reacting unnecessarily. Someone who has good emotional intelligence etiquette knows it can damage relationships. Now, when you tell your mom, it's like you're shouting at your mom. Yeah, it damages you. It affects your relationship with your mother. When your elder brother or someone tells you to do an assignment, and you're like, "When it's only me," yeah, it damages relationships. To react to emotions in a way that is disrespectful to your siblings, to your mother, to your father, too intense, too impulsive, or harmful. I'm talking to you about this because I've practically seen, like, we are getting edgy because of being, half the time now we are at home and duties have to be assigned. exercise self-control when you're given an assignment. That is part of managing your emotions, and you work towards being a good person in the society and in life to come. And why is emotional intelligence important? We said IQ, people with high IQ can be measured from results from schools and workplaces. If I'm a performer, my IQ will be rated as good because I'm able to deliver my reports on time. I'm able to deliver my targets on time. So I'm measured by my work results. When you're in school, you're measured by your grades. So your IQ is high. But emotional intelligence cannot be measured. Therefore, you have to work towards your emotional intelligence. It's something you work on. It's work in progress. It can be thought of as an individual ability to be self-aware. You are aware of yourself. Unajua hapa nikipita huwa nakasirika. So why use that route if you know that whenever you use that route you get mad because you see someone who looks at you, those eyes of, why are you passing through here? Yeah. So you're self-aware of yourself. You react quickly. So then avoid things that make you react quickly. You're able to recognize and understand yourself and people around you and their behaviors and their emotions. That's a very key and critical point, which actually when we're doing part 2, we will actually be able to expound on it more. The other thing, self-manage and self-regulate. Now, the self-regulation, it's like when you switch on a gas cooker, you don't want food to burn, you regulate the fire. So even as a human being, as yourself, when you're high, you're emotional intelligent, it's people who are able to self-regulate themselves. Ukiona hapa kitaumana, just walk away. If you feel like you want to throw a bad word to someone, regulate your tongue and do not release those words that you're planning to release to the other person just because they offended you. Half the time, I've found myself walking away into situations and keeping quiet and then later come back. I have regulated. Ata yo hasira imeshuka. When you self-regulate, by the time you open your mouth to talk, your anger has gone down. Okay? Now, you're also self-motivated. Yeah? You encompassing our internal resources to be driven, perform, and reach towards goal. People who have high emotional intelligence are self-motivated. You don't wait to be told do this and this. You're self-motivated. You want to do it and now move on to the next agenda. Yeah? And then again, we talked about they're empathetic. Being empathetic is wearing the other person's shoe, putting yourself in that situation. If I'm the one who was in that situation, how would I have felt if I was treated badly? Okay? So empathetic is very critical in emotional intelligence. And then they are rational, encompassing our ability to build and maintain relationships, our networks, lead, manage conflict with at work and with others, and even in churches. How do you manage conflicts? Yeah, they're relational. Yeah, people who have high emotional intelligence, who are highly emotional, they have high emotional intelligence. They're able to build relationships, okay, and manage conflicts. You cannot be able to manage conflicts if you are not relational. Now, to end my presentation today, I want to talk a bit emotional intelligence during a pandemic or during a crisis. How do you manage a crisis? How are we managing? How are we self-regulating during this crisis of COVID-19? Now, I want mainly to just pick a few things. The negative emotions such as stress. You know, those are emotions that bring a lot of negativity in our lives. Fatigue, panic. We are told, oh, today is 300, 400, we panic. Yeah, it can be contagious as we get to hear bad news. So most of the time, avoid dwelling on the bad news. Avoid dwelling on the negative. That way, you will be calm, and you'll also be able to weather the storm during the pandemic. Now, humans react differently upon crisis. They can be overwhelmed, self-overwhelmed, yeah, and adult self and there are three types of situations that we fall in when there is a crisis. So the overwhelmed self. Now, I'm overwhelmed today because of what is happening. Maybe there's not enough food. The children are here. They don't know anywhere to go today. We don't have a program for the day. So I'm overwhelmed. Now, that self-overwhelmed is a childish part of a person. The most defenseless and vulnerable. When I'm overwhelmed as a parent, or even you as a child or as a youth, you become defenseless and vulnerable. So avoid being overwhelmed by situations. So, and the key to reaching the adult self lies in emotional intelligence. Improve on it. One way to avoid falling into survival mode is name our emotions. List down how you're feeling every day. If you don't have someone to talk to, you can write them down. Observe your feelings. Name them, and try to even think, why am I going through this crisis? Why can't I stop and think, how can I change my tomorrow during a crisis? Now, to avoid even panic, try and stock up like rations. Try and fill the gap of where you feel like why you're panicking. That way, like if you make purchases, you'll feel relaxed and know, oh, even if there's a lockdown, I have everything that is required. Now, lastly, during quarantine season is a good time to learn something. And this I even keep telling my daughter. It's something that you learn something new. Where you thinking cap on. Don't just dwell on the negative. Don't just dwell on what is happening. Don't just dwell on like you've lost a whole year of college or school. Don't dwell on that. Now, take time to learn new activities. Practice an instrument. Finish a book. Read journals. Go online. Look for online jobs. Look for things that can occupy you so that you don't dwell on the negative. The good thing is that it is easy to find tutorials on the internet about all kinds of things, such as piano lessons, yoga, learning to knit. If you have children, these activities can help bring the family together. Okay? Then being in regular contact with your family. Don't lose touch with family and friends during this time. They help you unwind. They help you cock out, remove what is the emotions that you're feeling inside of you. Mainly, avoid triggers, that is which we've just talked about, the negative news. And try and read a lot of books that are motivational, that are inspiring, so that they take away the negative emotions that you could be going through. And as I conclude, in these times of uncertainty, most people are nervous and anxious. Practice empathy, yeah. Keep in touch with people, yeah. Stay calm and practice empathy. I repeat, avoid negativity. Yeah, occupy yourself, occupy your mind, occupy your siblings. Make sure you are all the time occupied, either reading or doing something that is positive and constructive. Stay calm and practice empathy. And when you do that, you'll be able to go through this season and even come out a better person, because in everything, there's a reason for it. And when you improve your emotional intelligence, you'll find you're more productive and can build more productive relationships. And emotional intelligence is intrinsic to who we are. And as such, it impacts every facet of our lives. Yeah? and most notably the workplace, our social lives, day-to-day dealings with people, and our families. So this emotional intelligence not only impacts us in the society, but even with our families. So be calm, stop reacting, and self-regulate. And with that, I look forward to continue with the next session, and I look forward to seeing you all in the Youth Center when normalcy returns. God bless you. God bless you.